Hi, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on revolutions, deaths, and innovations, what creatives can do, hosted by the Creative Business Network in collaboration with the Creative Forum and the Slovenian government. Let me anticipate that this webinar is streamed online by BKTV in Slovenia, and its recordings will soon be available on our community, thisis.cbnet.com. Thanks, first of all, to the startup founders that joined us today. Francis Obanijesu from the Lightning Artz, Nigeria, Isabella Oriani from Thai Safari City in Kenya and Sweden, Richmond Nzi from Mygrants, Italy, and Sepehr Saifuddin from Maktab, Afghanistan. And now I leave the floor to Rasmus Churning, our director, who will introduce us to the topic of this webinar. So, revolutions, deaths, and innovations. What creatives can do, Rasmus?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Eduardo. And thank you for putting this together. Also, thank you to the Slovenian EU presidency and the Creative Forum for hosting us. If you want to pull up my slides, Eduardo, I would be very grateful. I'm also extremely grateful to have such fantastic startups with me here, because when I reach the point of innovations, then it's, yeah, you're almost there. There we go, yes. Then you will understand what we're talking about. Did you hear that Eduardo said we also have a startup from Afghanistan? Maktab actually was the winner of Creative Business Cup 2019. They work on women's empowerment and how kids, young girls in the Helmand province can also learn. So obviously we have helped, the Creative Business Network have pulled together, and we helped Sepehr to get out of Kabul in time before the takeover by the Taliban. It was quite an effort, and I'm glad that you're with us, Sepehr, but also for the rest of you, you're doing great stuff. Next slide, please, Eduardo. So why is this powerful stuff? Why are we talking about revolutions? Why are we talking about deaths? And I'm going to give you some examples, but I would like for you to just consider some songs when you hear them, how you're being moved to maybe your first love or your second love or your fifth love, how movies can make you cry or make you hopeful, and how stories that you read might bring you to tears. And I think it's quite, it's interesting that among the many exceptions that you could have in world trade, culture is one of the main exceptions that was introduced by notably France, but also Canada and the NAFTA. You will see that the countries in the world, they realize that cultural and creative products are powerful. They can really move people in different directions. When it comes to revolutions, I always use the example of songs. We have lots of songs by Bob Dylan or others that have actually made or started movements, social movements in the world. And I don't know if you know, but actually the country called Belgium was actually created after riots came after an opera called La Muette de Porcini actually was played, and then the songs made people so eager and to go out and create and throw out the Dutch that actually you could say an opera created Belgium. When it comes to deaths, we have some old ones. I don't know if you know that The Sorrows of the Young Werther by Goethe from 1770s were actually forbidden by the churches in Denmark, for example, and also another country I can't remember, simply because there were rumors that young men committed suicide, simply because they read that book. Some people say it's a myth that we actually saw some suicides, but we definitely saw a change in fashion, that young men that had read the book started wearing different clothes, and some of them actually also started to do some self-harm, just as we can find young people, especially girls, do when they join certain Instagram group. And I think that's extremely shameful that these groups aren't shut down, that inspire people to do self-harm, especially the youth. So with deaths, apparently a book, simply a book, inspired some people to commit suicide. Then also in 2005, I'm not going to show the cartoons, but in 2005, we had a newspaper in Denmark that published 12 drawings or cartoons of the Prophet. In 2006, it was estimated that some 139 people died in the riots that came after the publications of these cartoons. Some people would say that these are just simply cartoons. These are just simply drawings of the Prophet. But on the other hand, the fact that we saw in 2006 a total of 139 deaths because of it could say that these are powerful symbolic services and products that we should all be careful of. So with this introduction of the powerful stuff that the culture and creative industries provide, I would now like to move into the innovations that we see. And I think here, Eduardo, you will do the introductions of the different startups. But before that, next slide, please, Eduardo. I would like to encourage you to join a session that we have on the 14th of October about how public entities can work with creatives, because that's not so easy. We know how the private sector can work with creatives, but how public entities, you know, cities, regions, governments, national governments work with startups and creatives, it's not so easy because they fall under public procurement rules, like public buying rules. So we have on the 14th of October an event where we will put focus on that, and we will actually get some examples, especially from Finland and Sweden, where they have shown us how this can be done and how it's being made. And you can, as Eduardo mentioned before, join us in cbnet.com. Just remember that, and there's a button called Community. So press that button and you will be at thisis.cbnet.com. So this is just not, it's not just a one-off. So for all of you out there, please join us. And now I think we have 4 fantastic startups lined up. I already mentioned Maktab, Sepehr Saifuddin, who actually came to the Creative Business Cup. We run a competition, a global competition every year in the summer. You came in 2019. I don't think you're the first one to pitch, but we are happy to see you out of Afghanistan. Of course, there are lots of other creatives that work on good causes, such as women empowerment and education that are still in Afghanistan, we still should care about. But we are happy to see you here, and you're dialing in, I believe, from France, from a refugee center or a place that they have put you up together with your wife and child. This is really, I'm happy, and I would like to say thank you to Tiffany Norwood, Ingrid Vanderveld, Otto Kerr, and others in the Creative Business Network that all helped out in getting you out of Kabul in time. I think it was just 2 days before the complete takeover by the Taliban. So now, Eduardo, I will, with no further ado, leave the floor to you. So we also have some more time to hear from who this is all about, the creatives, the startups.
Yeah, thank you, Rasmus. It's a real pleasure to have as guests and speakers these 4 entrepreneurs and innovators. First of all, because we are a community of innovators. And secondly, because I think their personal story is even more important than their projects. Since you are engaged in making the world a better place, I would really love to know your story first. So we already mentioned Sepehr from Afghanistan, who's been working a lot on women entrepreneurship, education innovation, and many other fields with Maktab and other projects. I also want to welcome Isabella, who is Italian, lives in Sweden, and has been doing an amazing project in Kenya. Because with Safari Seat, you invented a wheelchair that is able to go anywhere. So you will let us know about it. And then Francis from Nigeria is engaged in developing solutions to make water cleaner with a very basic and disruptive solution. We welcome both Isabella and Francis at the global finals of the Creative Business Cup in June, where they did great. And during Bright, our innovation forum in June, we also hosted Chris from Italy. I think Chris today has some troubles in sharing his camera with us. So Chris, hopefully you can hear us and talk. Mygrants is a solution invented in Italy to enable refugees to learn in the process of moving elsewhere in Europe. And as you know, Italy is usually one of the first countries where they land. So I think that today
I hope it's not just a bad hair day, Chris. The reason why you're not wanting to share your photo, but because you can see we all look the way we look.
Yeah, this might be the reason, Rasmus. Apparently, yeah, he's trying to share his screen, but it doesn't work. But Chris, you're welcome.
I can't share my screen, but I can show myself. Sorry, I have an issue with my camera, but I can share my screen and present our job, obviously. Thank you.
Don't worry, don't worry. So I would start with Francis, if you're ready. Please tell us more about the Lightning Artz and what you're doing in Nigeria. Francis, can you hear us? I think he also has some slides to share.
Just give me a second, I'll join you. Yeah. So I'm trying to share my screen.
Take your time.
I think we should mention that this summer, among some 80 contestants from around the world, Francis came second in the global finals. Yes, you come far, Francis.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for for the opportunity to represent my country and make a change in my immediate environment. So thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of difficulty trying to find this file. But
okay, don't worry. Just open the camera and tell us about your project so that we can see you, Francis.
Okay. So at the Lightning Artz, we manufacture a point-of-use water purification system that harnesses the power of porous ceramics and colloidal silver to filter water from any source, lake, pond, river, flood into 99.9% free of germs, odor, smell, taste, and color. Clean water is one of the most pressing challenges that we're facing right here in Africa and Nigeria at large. Getting access to clean water, especially for people in the rural slum. So because of the economic downsize of the country about a few years ago, so most people even in the cities could not, bear the cost of living, and everybody had to move, or a quite number of people had to move from the cities then to the rural communities. Unknowing to them that in the rural communities there is one major pressing challenge, which is lack of access to clean, safe drinking water. So this has actually cost over 70,000 deaths of children under the age of 5 every year. And contaminated drinking water in Nigeria alone is estimated to have caused 785,000 diarrhea deaths each year. So we lose infants, we lose children, we lose our elder ones, and that's because of unclean, safe drinking water. Water is the most essential part of our day-to-day life. You have to drink in the morning, after breakfast, in the lunch, and of course at dinner. So even if you are taking let's go into Christianity, even if you are taking fasting and all that, you still have to take water maybe at noon or even at evening. So water is some basic needs that, of course, everybody, both the rich and the poor, cannot do without. Now, considering the development of the country and all that, or let me say, as we're moving developing era, climate change is becoming one of the pressing challenge, and this has actually reduced. It has actually, let me say, increased the number of waste that we run into the oceans, into rivers, into ponds, and all that, which is one of the major source of drinking or source of water for people in the rural slum. So aside having to lose people The World Health Organization statistics predicted in the year 2018 that 75% of sicknesses treated in the Nigerian hospital are water-related. It means that if we can solve the issue of water, it means that we can, of course, we can reduce drastically the number of waterborne disease and epidemics, and we can, we can reduce the number of sicknesses that we have in the Nigerian hospital today. So it means that for every 4 persons you see on the hospital bed in Nigeria, 3 of them were there as a result of waterborne disease, infection, and sicknesses. So this has actually been a major challenge, and that is what the Lightning Artz, that is what we look out to solve. We started in 2019. We have reached a quite number of communities. We've had partners, thanks to Creative Business Corp. After the first winning, the first national winning, we had people come around from different parts of the country to partner with us to make sure that this project gets into circulation, to make sure that we can reach out to as more people as we want. And after the global finals, we had some more international communities and from across Africa and beyond. We had people who have reached out to us and we're working on projects to make sure that aside Nigeria, we're reaching out to other parts of Africa. So having sold over 2,000 units of the product now, before we showed up for Creative Business Corp, we were below 1,000 sales units sold. But after the first winning, we've had to partner with us, and we've now started selling in 1,000. And what I'm trying to say is that considering the number of partners that we have now, we have reached over double of what we have reached and what we used to reach. And right now we have reduced, or we can say that we have reduced significantly number of child mortality rates and waterborne epidemics incidences in our immediate environment. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you, Francis. What you do is amazing. And let's move to Isabella. Isabella, I have your slides, so I will share my screen. Okay. And tell us more about...
Thank you. I might have to stop my video if the connection is not great, because I'm in Kenya and the bandwidth is a bit stable. Yeah. So you tell me if I don't come out,
You should now be able to see Isabella's slides. So just call your slides and I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. So for some reason, Thai logo disappeared from the slides. So I'm Isabella. I'm the CEO of Thai. And what I'd like to talk about is the link between our mission, our nature, and our, let's say, guiding principles, and their action as source of innovation, of resilience, and of decision making, which is fast and efficient. Thai is an organization which mission is to break the loop between disability, poverty, and social exclusion. In Africa, there are 20 million people who are mobility impaired, and 90% of them do not have access to any wheelchair because they are too poor. And they live trapped in a loop between disability, poverty, and social exclusion, which starts from not going to school as children, to not develop skills as youth, to not getting a job as adults, not getting an income, and not participating in the community. So we want to address this problem. We are an NGO in Sweden and a social company in Kenya, meaning that any kind of profit we are making is reinvested either in the NGO or the social company. How can I say, the way we think about ourselves in the context we move is that we are there to solve problems as opposed to, take advantage of business opportunities. We are there to create and maximize impact as opposed to maximize profit. We are there to serve our beneficiaries and not to sell to customers. And we address everything we do by sharing goals, roles, activities, benefits with like-minded organizations that are, willing to tackle the same issues, as opposed to seeking to have like exclusive role of advantage in what we do. So let's see how does this translate in design, in a business model, and in product development. You can go to the next slide. So speaking about design, because this is where everything starts,
apparently you froze, Isabella, so maybe you can stop sharing your...
Addressing the needs of mobility impaired people in rural Africa.
Isabella, we lost the last 30 seconds.
Okay, so maybe I stop my video. And,
good idea.
Okay, so starting from the design, I was saying, we start in 2006 where a group of designers decided stubbornly to develop an all-terrain high-performance wheelchair, which was addressing the needs of mobility impaired people in rural Africa. Their design and development was, set into within very specific boundaries. It had to be low cost. It had to be locally produced with local materials and equipment, and of course, local staff. And it had to address the needs of people having low income and living in rural and remote areas in Kenya. So after 18,000 hours of design, product development, testing, prototyping, in total collaboration with the users, and something like 25 prototypes, this is what they got in 2 years. Please go to the next slide. So there is a video which should start showing what is Safari Seat and what it is doing.
Yeah, let me check if we can see the video. Yeah, apparently the file is really heavy, so I'm not sure the video is working. I guess we can send a link later on.
Just skip the video. I just wanted to show what is Safari Seat. It's not a problem. I will just do without the video. So this is, this is like recap of what the video was showing. Can you go to the previous slide? Okay. Yeah. So Safari Seat, is high performing, and I was saying it's low cost and it's manufactured in low resource settings. And the fact that it had to be manufactured in low resource setting and it had to be low cost was a big, booster of very important innovation. The first one is that, the Safari Seat tires are lifting independently, which allows no tipping in the roughest ground. If it was not for it to be low cost, we would maybe have, adopted a much heavier and much more costly system for assuring no tipping. Then, of course, people have to go uphill and downhill, but we couldn't do a design of a wheelchair which was using electrical power. So in order to assure that there was constant transmission of power to the wheels, we have geared hand pedals, which allow our users to move very easily in the most uneven and uphill and downhill ground. And also there was a very important innovation which consists in the fact that all the mechanical parts of Safari Seat are bicycle parts. And this is clearly, the result of willing to do something which can be manufactured in a low resource context, because you can find bicycle parts mainly everywhere in the world. So you can see how, the limits that we were like, within which we were working have been a source of innovation and creativity. You can go to the next slide, Eduardo. Then we have the other, limitation, let's say, it has to be something which is useful for low-income remote areas. So again, we have last mile distribution, because people cannot travel like 50 kilometers to get their wheelchair. And last mile distribution comes also with user training and maintenance training and a maintenance package and manual, which means that we reduce to the minimum the need of repairing. And even if there is need of repairing, the fact that there are bicycle parts in the mechanism means that every bike shop in Africa can repair Safari Seat. Moreover, as people have to carry water, woods, food for long distances, we have to have a baggage rack of 150 kilogram capacity, and people don't want to risk to have their Safari Seat stolen. So small footprint. So they can bring it inside their hut in the evening. So you can see how the limitation and the constraints within which the design was moving was actually a source of very important innovation that are making the Safari Seat so unique. You can go to the next slide. Now, the business model. Of course, we want to be financially sustainable, but cannot compromise two things. We have to meet our beneficiaries at financial terms that meet their needs. And we want to scale up fast our impact, but we have to be low cost and low risk because we don't have like huge investors behind our back. So what do we do? Next slide. So the people earning less than $4 a day, we serve them by selling to donors or to institutions, and then they receive the safari seat for free. There's nothing that can be done with them. But there is a huge opportunity of empowering people with the choice over their disability in selling to the people who are still poor but a bit better off, safari seat at credit or via insurance coverage. Of course, we did not invent neither microcredit nor insurance, but we are the first one which are selling a wheelchair to disabled people with microcredit. And this is a very, big step we are taking for making sure that we are creating the maximum impact without having people to wait for donors to decide that they deserve something. Next slide. Another important thing I was saying, we want to scale up fast because we want to reach maximum impact, but we have to do it at low cost and low risk. And we cannot be the bottleneck of this. So what we did do is we are giving up having all, the control and the benefits of the scaling up. And we are seeking to reach out to partner workshops, which are like-minded organizations, which are exactly as our workshop going to receive the manufacturing parts for the safari seat, then they are going to assemble it, and then they are going to sell it to safari seat in their market. And this is really, the only thing that we are controlling, let's say, in this is that they do not charge more than an agreed amount for the people who are buying safari seat. This is the only thing we are actually caring, except of course for quality management. Next slide. Another thing we do, according to, to our principles, is that we do product and service development to create the impact we want to see. We are not there for selling assistive technology. We are there for changing people's lives. So what do we do? Next slide. In terms of product development, we could have upgraded safari seat, maybe an electrical version, maybe a tricycle, but this wouldn't really add impact. So we don't do this, and what we do is to add plugins, we call them, that are transforming it in something which create impact. So we are adding by 2022 Safari Cart to our portfolio, which is a cart attached to the wheelchair, allowing people to carry and display goods. And we are adding Safari Work, which is a table embedded in the wheelchair. And so mainly with Safari Cart and Safari Work, Safari Seat become a working station. It's like, you move with your office. Imagine a shoemaker, imagine someone who is repairing phones, imagine someone who is sewing. So it's really, in this direction we are going. And of course, we are developing Safari Kid, which is the child version of Safari Seat, because we want to tackle the problem and its origin. Next, we are also working hard to link the provision of Safari Seat to vocational training, job search support, business coaching, and business loans, so that we really, help people graduate from this loop of poverty, disability, and social exclusion. What I'm trying to say with this is, next slide. You can even go to the next one. If we were in the logic, opportunity, profit, and customer, our business model would be this one, there is time, there are the customers, and we want to sell and they pay. And then we have the partners, but the partners, we try to put them behind our shoulders. We are the one who run the show. And in this logic, next slide, the only thing which can happen is that we sell more, we sell to more clients, and we have we expand geographically, but then we are done. It's not very creative. But the moment we put in the middle problem, impact, and beneficiaries, then next slide, we become part of a much bigger network of people who share with us the goal and share the means and share the role and the benefits of tackling these problems. So this is completely changing our logic and is giving rise to many interesting activities. Next slide. For example, now up Well, okay. There was one about microcredit, but let me just show you this. For example, I was mentioning the employability platform. Of course, we had the idea, let's do this. Let's link Safari Seat to vocational training and to microcredit. But we don't need to be the one running the show. Actually, we are actively looking for an NGO to take over our idea and be the one running the show. Because our problem, our aim is to reach the impact, is not to benefit from the idea. Next. Sometimes, you know, this attitude is playing really well in our how can I say, in our advantage, because, for example, in R&D, we have zero cost of design because we have university in the UK. It's the Bristol, Liverpool, and London University, where master students are working, you know, as their master students on the design of now the new product development of Safari Seat. And last, of course, in terms of scaling up, the moment we gave up willing to control and willing to have all the benefits of scaling up, the idea of having partner workshop was a no-brainer, of course. And this is making us scaling up so fast. We started the year being only in Kenya, and we are now in Kenya and Tanzania, and we are going to be in Kenya, Tanzania, Niger, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, Rwanda, Uganda, and Mozambique in 2022. This all through partnership with workshops that are going to assemble Safari Seat. So I think that, you know, my take home for this is that really our mission and our nature and our guiding principles are our compass. So once we have this straight and once we really stick to them, they act as a big source of creativity, of resilience, of fast decision-making, and believe me, big, big fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Isabella. I think we all appreciated your passion for your project.
Actually, Eduardo, if you go to Safari Seat, you can show and share the screen of a very, very good video, interactive video that you can see. So if you go to Safari Seat, there is actually a video running that you can maybe just
in the website there is a video running. Yes.
Yes, it's. I think it's definitely worth going to.
Yep. Let me do that. I will soon share my screen. Yep. Thanks, Rasmus.
Because then the people will get a good impression, because I think the video really shows what it's all about also.
Yeah, it's simply amazing. Okay, I think now we are ready for Chris. Chris, are you ready? I think you can share your slides. Yes. I stop my screen share.
Thank you for your time. I'm sorry I cannot share my camera, but I will share my screen and share a quick presentation with you about the work that we do on migrants. My name is Richmond Nzi. I was born in Ivory Coast in '85. I live in Italy. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm the founder of Mygrants. So as you probably already understood, we're talking about migration here as a challenge. And in 2017, I decided to build this web application called Mygrants. And today, Mygrants is the most used training and assessment platform for asylum seekers and refugees in Europe. We deliver more than 10,000 model quizzes in 3 languages. So we work on microlearning to not just map the background, but also give the opportunity to our trainees to upskill and align their skills to the labor market shortage. We use the data to really understand areas of strength, weaknesses, and to match existing skills with the skills requested by the labor market shortage. For the people in general, migration, it's a problem, but for us, it's a great opportunity. Basically, we have some countries such as Italy, but also Canada, Japan, Germany, that are the oldest countries in the world. And they also have a really low birth rate. And this condition is really powerful. And that's the reason why some countries, such as Canada, decided to create and to build a strategy to welcome new migrants every single year to manage the fiscal pressure. There is another opportunity to manage these contexts right here. It's increase the level of digitalization in all the processes, such as Japan is doing right now. So today, the great challenge is how to manage relocation program of migrants, so move migrants from point A to point B in a safer way, in a faster way, and use available skills to satisfy national labor market shortages. So in 2017, we started to create Mygrants. It's a training and assessment platform dedicated to asylum seekers and refugees. They get access to more than 10,000 module quizzes in 3 languages, English, French, and Italian, so they can learn more about information, their rights, their obligations, but also the functioning of the asylum system. And they can generate a more consciousness about the rules of the game. They also have some training contents based on the labor market shortage. So they have some contents dedicated to hard skills, soft skills, language evaluation, based on the professional destination they choose. So the training and assessment platforms get up to date based on the choices made by the trainees. And what they do is simply choose a topic, answer the questions, part of the quizzes, and they collect some points for each correct answers. They receive the formative feedback to dive in and learn a specific concept when they get the wrong answer. And the points generate some rankings based on the professional destination, but also based on the geolocation of our trainees. So Mygrants, basically, it's a simple web app based on micro-learning, quizzes, and gamification, where our trainees can use their free time to empower their skills and to better understand not just how they perform during the time, but which are the most suited opportunities available on the market that can match with their profile. In the meantime, we also tested on the market, starting from April this year, CashMe. And CashMe, it's simply a financial rewarding system giving the opportunity to our trainees to earn some money based on the quality of their training program every single month. We're going to use CashMe not just to support financially our trainees, but we're going to use CashMe to build a credit potential based on financial literacy for each single trainee. And we will share the CashMe data with banks, insurance, and householder to build more trust between migrants and financial services. We also have PickMe, and PickMe, it's a B2B platform dedicated to small, medium enterprises, corporates, and recruitment agencies, where they can interrogate the migrants database and extract in real time the short list of the most suited profiles according to the role they require. The innovation in PickMe is the fact that companies have no self-declaration about the skills, but they have a continued validation of the skills from migrants to PickMe. So they have data about the skills available, and they can track in real time how the profiles evolve every single day, every single week, every single month, to be sure to bring home the most talented profile according to their labor market shortage. So right now we have 3 services: Mygrants, training, CashMe, fintech, and PickMe, sourcing and HR. The process is really simple. At the beginning of the process, we don't know, let's say, some personal sensitive information about trainees, as well as the previous skills or the background. So the first assessment is necessary to personalize the training program. And according to the quality of the answer given through the quizzes, we continue to track not just the background, but also the skills acquired during the time, including other attitudes such as the motivation, the perseverance, and the dedication. Based on the data, we validate background and skills acquired, and we use the data to ease the matching between skills available and skills requested by the labor market shortage. 4 years later, we have reached 190,000 users, and it's also true that 30% of the user base, it's not in Italy nor Europe, but they are in Middle East, North Africa, or in Africa. We also work with Goodwall, Cartel Natingi in Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa. Our trainees used to stay on the platform on average 250 minutes per day, and we identified more than 20,000 high-skill profile, and we supported the placement for 2,700 of them. This is a for-profit company. Mygrants, it's a startup, for-profit startup. So we have some business clients, and in the first 6 months of 21, we generate more than 100,000 euros in revenues. We have some local, national clients, but we also have some international clients, also because we're trying to pilot the same model in other areas of the world, not just Middle East, but we're about to pilot also in the US and Canada. We started here in Italy because we understood that Italy is the most complex market for migrants, and it's also the main entry point for Europe. In Italy, there are many challenges, including the low workforce percentage, but also a high population. So there is a high number of Italian citizens that decide to go abroad to find better opportunities. So there is also a question and an issue about the labor market shortage and how we can better use migrant skills to fulfill this labor market shortage. But it's also true that we decided to test, pilot, validate the model here in Italy. And I knew that if we were able to win the challenge here in Italy, it would be easier to scale the model elsewhere. So starting from this year, we will start piloting migrants in US and Canada. And next year, we will scale not just in US, but especially in Africa. So this is what we do. This is Mygrants, and we use technology, education, not just to support migrants, but to build a better international asylum system, giving the opportunity to nationals to find the skills they need to satisfy the labor market shortage. So a win-win process for migrants and also for host communities.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I will go straight to Sepehr, and I'm sharing his slides because then we can make some question and answers in the end. So yeah, Sepehr, can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you, Chris, and thank you everyone for providing this opportunity for me to talk to you and share some of my experiences and the work we have done so far.
Just tell me, Sepehr, where are you right now?
So I'm in a hostel in Bordeaux.
Bordeaux?
A city, yeah, Bordeaux, a city in France, and a few hours back, I have heard that they will move us to another city. I think it's Agen or another place. So, yeah. Okay. So my name is Saifuddin Sepehr. I am the CEO and founder of Maktab. Maktab is a social e-learning platform that we have built in Afghanistan to help especially girls in Afghanistan to have access to educational resources and quality educational resources, and also they can compete, share, and collaborate with their friends and peers through our platform. So we have won different awards so far. We are a national winner of Creative Business Cup in 2018 in Afghanistan, and we have also won a special mention award in Copenhagen in 2029 in the global finals. And we have also won a Cyber Tech Award in 2019 as well. So can you move to the next slide? So these are the awards that we won, and also what is Maktab? So it's a social e-learning platform that uses artificial intelligence power system to help students learn and track, share, and compete with each other. And unfortunately, so far, everything that we have done in Afghanistan and everything that we have gained over past 20 years are flipped and are gone in a matter of a few days, and now everything is uncertain. So currently here, when I got out from Afghanistan by the help of friends and at CBC and friends and my other networks, so when I got here, I'm still contacting with a team of who backs and who are working on Maktab, who have been working on Maktab so far. So they are in Afghanistan and some of them are hiding. So we are planning to still continue Maktab because we think that this platform would be needed more than ever these days in Afghanistan, because most of the subjects from the educational system in Afghanistan would be removed under the new regime, as we have heard that some science subjects would be removed, some subjects that have that are taught the language of English, and other new discoveries, for example, for the universe, would be removed because of the beliefs that the new government has. So we think that that we have an alternative way to provide those subjects and those studies and lessons to the people of Afghanistan, especially for the women and girls in Afghanistan, so that we could move to another city, we could move to another educational system and also provide them for the Afghanistan. So these are some what are you seeing in the slides are some of the research that we have done, but I'm not talking about those things. And these are the problem statement that we have, and we wanted to build Maktab. Can you move to the next slide? Yes, next slide. So this slide is what we will continue to work in the future in Afghanistan. Sorry, a minute.
Yeah. Thank you, Sepehr.
Sorry, I needed to provide some documents because to my wife. So these are some challenges that we have currently in Afghanistan, and we will continue to work on to provide these subjects in alternative ways for Afghanistan. And also the problems that we have is Maktab started by some women, some girls that fresh graduate from computer science and other fields. So they came together and they created this solution for the other girls. But in the future, we will see that girls will be prevented from going to school. And then and those girls that have worked with this platform, they are also eager to help the other girls in Afghanistan, but they themselves are in a very bad situation there. So and one of my goals is to keep them safe, and we will continue to provide these services. Can you go to the end of the slides? So yeah, these are some facts that unfortunately in Afghanistan, but so far we had 0 girls graduated from some provinces, from some schools in Afghanistan, but unfortunately we couldn't meet all those things even in the past 20 years. But the future would be very dark, very uncertain, and very sad for the people of Afghanistan, especially for the girls. So our main focus at Maktab is to provide an alternative solution for those students. And we are currently planning some fundraising and also some calling for some supports to build this solution more and add new features. Can you go to the final slide? 1, 2, fine. Yes, this one. Yeah, the future plan. So we will develop some new features that could help those girls to have access to that they could continue their studies through the Maktab. And we think that the internet would be a problem in Afghanistan in the future, but we think to provide those content in an offline mode. And also we will develop some features in the Maktab that women and girls at risk could share their voices with supporters, international supporters. So we could have an alternative way so that they could share their voices and challenges to the world. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I would be very happy to answer.
Thank you, Sepehr. This is really interesting and touching. And I think that Rasmus has some questions and some final statement on your great contribution, guys. I'm also checking the chat.
Not necessarily just me, actually. It was anyone attending this have any questions for any of the presenters?
Well, there was Ayla from Germany that while...
Ayla is actually from Israel. Ayla Matalon.
Sorry, Ayla. She was saying that Germany has a huge problem with family-based small, medium enterprises where the young generation refuses to take business over, and in parallel, a considerable refugee body seeking jobs. So 1 + 1 may provide 3. I think Italy is the same, my country. So the most active entrepreneurs are migrants. And this is really relevant for Europe, I think. Maybe Chris or Sepehr or you all guys want to comment on this.
On the immigrants? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, on the fact that migrants are often entrepreneurs, and people moving to other countries are at the base of big companies to show up, as it happened in the Silicon Valley, for instance.
Yeah, maybe Chris have more on that, but from my experience, I think migrants and they can contribute to anything around the world, because I as an immigrant came to France, and I have some experiences at some extent and some part of the world. So I can use those experiences to a new world and build some solutions that we faced on the ground, but here people maybe haven't seen that. So when you send something, you can build a better solution for that. And I could help the Mygrants app that Chris shared. Maybe I can have some comments for them, and also some features that they could have add to their platform, because I saw this is an interesting and very amazing platform, but I think I could be of some help to them and provide some of the advices that I have, and I go through this. Yeah.
Sure, we will immediately connect you with Chris. And let me also say that in Italy, the education technology industry is growing. There are many activities that might be relevant for you, Sepehr, also on the play and learn field. So Rasmus and I am working on it.
Thank you.
So if there are no questions from the participants, it's also, I think it's, we have different layers. Maybe Isabella, you showed your video. Maybe you have a question, Isabella, or anyone else is happy to pitch in. We have about 4 minutes left. Yeah, if there's anyone who wants to pitch in, otherwise we'll round up.
Yeah, maybe we can add something about entrepreneurs generating impact in Africa. And so on your journey, Isabella, was different. You moved from Italy to Sweden, and then you started creating projects in Africa. You're muted, Isabella. We cannot hear you. Yeah.
Let's say that sometimes life have more fantasy than what do you have. So this is where it goes. And I was not part of the initial group of designers of Safari Seat. I joined mainly in like a bit more than 2 years ago to transform what was like a project in a long-term organization. And I have to say that there is a great energy, and maybe this is also because we are and in Sweden and in Kenya, so we are trying to bring the best out of the two worlds, and we are really trying to, how can I say, to learn from it. It's I spend my time actually half in Sweden and half in Kenya, and it's an interesting path where I would say that the people with whom I am in this path are, I wouldn't say as important as, because of course we feel this responsibility and this kind of pride of serving an important goal, but it's really a big part of how happily I am working every day on what I am doing. So it's really a nice experience, this.
Yeah, I think that the people that are making the journey with you are the most important part of the journey, actually. I would like to ask to Francis. I mean, we know that the startup scene in Nigeria is growing. So we guess you're really busy there, but where are you willing to expand your business? Because this is also gives me the chance to say that in October, we'll be hosting a series of events dedicated to internationalization and also to startups willing to move to Denmark, for instance, or to expand their business in Denmark, as well as going abroad in other countries. You are muted, Francis.
We only have about a minute left, I must say. So
okay, a very quick one. So one of the places we would like to expand to, first of all, is Benin Republic. Benin Republic is very close to us, and in fact, you can travel out to that country without having to go through the air. So you can go by road. It makes it very, very interesting to send our project to do the first test and trial. So after that, we may want to start considering Cameroon, then Kenya.
Great.
So those are the top on our list.
Rasmus.
Yes, I would like to just make a quick thank you to, I'm actually not in my own office. I'm here in Milano in the office of Luisa Colina, who is the president of the design school at Politecnico Milano. She has been so kind to offer me to use her office for this session that has been hosted with the Slovenian EU presidency and the Creative Forum. So thank you to Luisa, to Politecnico Milano, and to Slovenian EU presidency, and also to the Creative Forum. Eduardo, you probably have also a few last roundups, and thank you from my side.
Okay, yes, I just want to say thanks to our innovators, to our community. More to come on our community. This is .cbnet.com, new events in September and in October. You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.